The Great Wall of China, one of the many wonders of the world, stands just outside Beijing City, host city for this week's stop on the Triathlon World Cup circuit. The Changping district of Beijing is a spectacular area steeped in history and tradition, but it's quickly earning a name for itself in the world of high-caliber sporting events. Not only is this the second time Beijing has hosted a Triathlon World Cup race, but it's soon to play host to the biggest sporting event in the world, the Olympic Games in 2008. And that exciting claim to fame is why athletes from across the globe have all made the trip here to test their wits against each other, but more importantly, against the future Olympic Games course. On the women's side, a rivalry like no other has formed over the course of the season between current and three-time world champion Emma Snowsill and reigning world #1 Vanessa Fernandez. Both women have dominated the season so far, but the two have only met once in 2006 at the recent World Champs. Snowsill may have won that match, but Fernandez still has her eye on a long-standing record set by Aussie Emma Carney. Carney dominated women's racing in the early 90s, winning 12 consecutive events at the peak of her career. A victory today brings Fernandez on par with Carney, but only if she can overcome the disappointment of her second-place finish in Lausanne.
What I want to do on Sunday is a good race for everyone and try again to be always the course for the Olympic Games and to do my best, but you know, 12 times win, I think it's very much for me. It will be very difficult. After the Hamburg, and that week and this last week, I don't feel good. My foot is worse and bad day by day, and I think I don't know if it was because of the Worlds and Hamburg next, and now I don't know how I will feel on Sunday.
Emma Snowsill has already set her own record earlier this season by winning her third World Championship crown, but can she maintain that momentum here in Beijing?
I think I've probably had to learn a lot of things pretty quickly in the short time I've been in the sport, and yeah, I'd have to say, like, you know, Melbourne really taught me how to tune off to that sort of thing and really put that aside and concentrate on my performance. So, you know, I don't ever plan on changing that attitude and the way I go about, you know, heading into a race, whether it's a local one at home or whether it is the Olympics in 2 years' time. I think the course is great. The heat is, you know, something I enjoy, and if it's a would be a non-wetsuit swimmer that time of year, you know, they're all things that I really enjoy about, you know, racing, and I really I'm looking forward to that.
Laura Bennett and husband Greg have a newfound focus when it comes to training, and that's the bike, something that should stand her in good stead here in Beijing.
Yeah, I think the biking is definitely becoming more of an element, which I think is great. It's just if it comes in too late. I think a lot of people were hurt from the Athens transition. You know, all of a sudden we've got this unbelievable hill in the Olympic course. I've been working on it because I've found that, you know, it's becoming such the element, but it's also helped my run a ton to be strong on the bike. You come off a lot fresher, and I think it was just a matter of time. I put a lot of energy into the swimming, you know, through university swimming, and then focused on the run when I got back into triathlon, and now it's time for the bike, and so it's made a big difference in my overall strength as well.
Before we get underway, let's take a look at the course facing athletes today. And it's a tough one, with the men and women racing over the same course. Starting with a 2-lap, 1,500-meter swim in a freshwater reservoir. After finishing the swim, competitors will embark on a challenging 6-lap, 40-kilometer bike course through the outskirts of Beijing. The course is one of the toughest they'll face all season long, with several challenging hills sure to feel even more difficult with the hot, humid weather also playing a factor. And finally, the course wraps up with an undulating 4-lap, 10-kilometer run over similar terrain to the bike, so any legs that weren't burning after the cycle portion will certainly be screaming by the end of the race. Now, before the women hit the water, let's take a look at a few of the names to watch in today's race. Laura Bennett is back on form heading into Beijing, while Snowsill and Fernandez are two obvious favorites, with Joelle Fransman a perennial contender, especially with her strong bike. And now here's Barry Shepley with the race.
Well, it has been a long journey, and Vanessa Fernandez is going to see whether that string stays intact or is defeated. And the woman most likely to take it away could be Emma Snowsill, the 3-time world champion, as she is in the field here today. And we're taking a look as the women, 75 plus with a waiting list, so the incredible growth of the sport. And The Chinese spectators have come out here. Some of them have been in the stands for over 2 hours before the race getting started. And we can see Laura Bennett pushing the pace here very early in this no wetsuit 1500 meter swim. It'll be 2 loops, 1,000 meters in the big opening rectangle, and then a smaller 500 meter loop. Vanessa Raw from Great Britain right there. Just ahead of her was Andrea Hewitt. As we take a look back into the chase women, it is still early in this 1500 meter swim, but the U.S. athlete Laura Bennett continuing to push the pace as she has in so many of the swims, and this is just a continuous domination of American swimmers that we have seen over the last 5 or 6 years. The athletes continuously in the sight of the spectators, and we are anticipating somewhere between 75 and 80,000 as we get ready towards the Olympic Games out on the course. And this small drinking reservoir in the district of Champagne supporting these women in a great place to swim, no waves to deal with, 22 degrees Celsius water. And Laura Bennett, who has had so many swim creams over her career, 3 World Cup podiums this year, all bronze medals. She's been a 3-time world medalist at the World Championships in 2003, 4, and 5. It'll be another swim cream for Laura Bennett as she goes back into the water. Raw just beside her, that is Annabelle Luxford. Sarah Haskin and Hewitt just coming out of the water. Right there is Emma Snowsill, but just on her feet as she goes back in will be Vanessa Fernandez in that very distinguished bathing suit in the silver and purple. See Franzman going back in there as well as the women now go for a smaller 500-meter second loop. They'll come back behind the pontoon and then run right up onto start their 7-lap, 40-kilometer bike. It is Laura Bennett pushing the pace. We're taking a look back right now. The Matsu from Japan just coming out right there. Ricardo Lisk as well, so they are much further back. And as we're taking a look on the right side, that is Annabelle Luxford pushing past Laura Bennett right now as they go through the 1,200-meter mark. Take a look towards the end of the 1,500-meter swim. It will be Annabelle Luxford in her first time back racing. Haskin from the U.S. behind. Hewitt from New Zealand. There's Bennett from the U.S. Emma Snowsill right on her feet. Vanessa Fernandez, the battle we anticipated. Franzman coming out of the water. Joel Franzman from Germany. Just behind her, Christine Jeffrey from Canada. And as our chase athletes start to come out of the water right now, we are seeing Annabelle Luxford running to the bike. So the woman who has missed a tremendous part of 2006 because of injuries is making a fantastic comeback here late in 2006. Just coming up the stairs on the bottom of the screen was Debbie Tanner from New Zealand, so she is much further back than she would have anticipated as our elite women go out onto the start of their 7-lap, very challenging bike course. We are looking at the women still coming out of the water from down below, so a large difference in this no wetsuit swim. Vanessa Fernandez told me that the time she missed away with her running injury, she spent in the water, and it certainly seems to have paid big dividends with another great swim in the World Cup circuit. And as we take a look at Annabelle Luxford getting into her shoes, the elite women will try to catch up to the former #1 ranked woman in the world.
Annabelle Luxford led the women out of the water, followed closely by Haskins and Hewitt, along with all other pre-race favorites Bennett, Snowsill, Fernandez, and Franzman. Further back, Swiss favorite DeMarco Mesmer was also well positioned in the top 12.
The women had a chance to train on this course throughout most of the week as almost all of the 150-plus athletes stayed at the same hotel, which literally is only about 2 kilometers from the finishing line. So a great opportunity as we see Moffat looking over her shoulder. And we're taking a look right now as our lead women are pushing the pace, and that is Emma Snowsill. And you have to believe that wherever she goes, Vanessa Fernandez is going to follow today. Our lead group of about 10 women, and just coming up from behind right now, Kathy Tremblay trying to push the pace. The young Canadian has had a number of victories on the World Point Series and a bronze medal at the World Cup race in Mazatlan earlier this year, and she has shown some great promise with fantastic runs out of most of her races. A little overcast here in Beijing today, and it's only about 25 degrees Celsius, so much of the heat and humidity that the athletes will likely have to deal with not here today. Lap 2 right now, they'll be coming back up the hill. You can see out of the saddles right now, and there's about 3 different distinct hills on this course. So the athletes, as they come back past the dock, the reservoir just down to the bottom of their right-hand side of the screen as you're looking towards the athletes. And they look like they are about to be caught by a chase group coming up from behind, as Annabelle Luxford will be pushing the pace, trying to test her legs on the course that she did not have a chance to finish in 2005. Our chase group of women riding very well right now, and as you can see, they're only about 8 seconds back. And one of the hillier portions of this course, the athletes still in a 6.1 kilometer loop 7 times, so the course a little long, about 42.6 kilometers for the day. And as our chase group of women right now, including Leanda Cave and Zabo from Hungary, are trying desperately to bridge back up to those leaders. Chinese have done a fantastic job of trying to make sure that all the athletes' needs have been met, and that have included making sure the course was well set up for training throughout the week, and looking for feedback from the athletes to make sure the Beijing course of 2008 is both fair as well as challenging. Our chase group of athletes just about to catch on to the leaders, and that is Becky Lavelle, who has done so much of the work in that chase group. So some of those women will definitely owe Becky Lavelle a big thank you if they get a larger paycheck tonight, because she has bridged chase group number 1 up to the leaders, and we now have a group of about 20 plus women into that lead group, and some of the stronger runners of the sport in that group. Well, this is becoming old hat for Laura Bennett as the U.S. athlete wins another bike cream. She has had more than her share this year, and just behind her, Becky Lavelle. So the U.S. athletes well established, but the big name athletes, Emma Snowsill and Vanessa Fernandez, sitting back waiting for the run that'll about to begin, as our chase pack of groups, including Debbie Tanner and Flora Duffy, still have to make significant time if they want to be a factor in this race. Becky Lavelle from the U.S. is renowned for her cycling ability, and she has pulled away from the leaders to take the second of the bike creams at the end of lap number 6, or into the bell lap, and you can see the 180-degree roundabout as they go back past the spectators out onto the final bell lap, and it's an opportunity to see just exactly where the chase group is. They have not come into sight. It's about 2+ minutes down right now. As we are taking a look right now at the spectators, the dock that has been built specifically for this course. They will leave and make a hard left-hand turn at the end of the dock down a very steep hill. And as the women head out on the final lap, the battle between Vanessa Fernandez and Emma Snowsill still continuing. And Snowsill has to be still the woman to be looking out for. And as you can see now, the chase group of athletes will be on one side of this 180-degree out and back section. The leaders just coming into view on the opposite side, so they are well up right now, and they know that they have a significant gap. So Tanner, who's into that chase group, will be very concerned right now as we see our leaders, Vanessa Fernandez, along with Becky Lavelle, going out for their final lap. They'll have one more significant climb on this course before it finishes. And that's Annabelle Luxford just in front of Vanessa Fernandez. And Luxford, who has had so much success in such a young career. She was a past 2300 world champion, second at the 2005 Elite Championships in Gamagori to her teammate Emma Snowsill. She finished last year as the #1 ranked woman in the world, and after injuries early on, she realized that that was not a possibility, and wisely has taken some time to get herself back and healthy. She said she anticipated being pretty strong on the swim and bike, but that she would not likely finish the entire run. There's Vanessa Fernandez just going through in a lead group of about 20+ athletes, including DeMarco, as we now start to take a very long look at the spectators who have come out here to cheer on these athletes. They have been out in large numbers, and the Chinese Triathlon Association and the organizers have to be very pleased with the progress that they have made in just 12 months. One of the most significant races in the country, and now for the second time racing on this course. In 2007, many countries will be using Beijing for their final selection race for the 2008 Olympic Games team. And as they're coming off the bike now, 7 laps, 42 plus kilometers, so the athletes riding just a little longer than the traditional 40 because of the lengths of the loop. To the left, Becky Lavelle. To the right, that is Laura Bennett. Just behind her, Emma Snowsill, Vanessa Fernandez just beside her. So those women have been no more than about a foot apart throughout most of the day so far. Andrea Hewitt just coming into the scene right there from New Zealand. So all the major players right now together. Kathy Tremblay into that group as well. But it'll be Laura Bennett looking over her shoulder first to head out. Hewitt behind her, Luxford as well. There goes DeMarco as they head off, and Vanessa Fernandez is flying. She is going right now after a record-tying 12 consecutive World Cup wins, and the woman who complained about fear of her foot is showing no sign of letting up here in this early stages of this 4-lap, 10-kilometer run. There she moves. It is Vanessa Fernandez in second, trying to track down Laura Bennett. Just behind her is Andrea Hewitt from New Zealand, the Canadian Kathy Tremblay sitting in 4th place. As we start to pan from the back of our leaders up towards the front, it is Vanessa Fernandez already in lead here in Beijing.
All of that recent bike work paid off for Laura Bennett, who led the field into the second transition. The strong group was also into the lead pack alongside her, including Franzman, Fernandez, and a few other top runners. Snowsill was also in touch, just outside the top 12.
Just 6 seconds back was Marie Ravi from the Republic of South Africa, so that young woman doing a great job. But a woman who just turned 21 a few days before this Beijing race, Vanessa Fernandez, pushing very hard. We're looking back into 2nd place, and you can just hear the breathing of Laura Bennett as she is trying to hang on right now. But here comes the woman that we anticipated would be challenging Fernandez, as Emma Snowsill, the 3-time world champion who's had some major wins in the U.S. this year and really wins wherever she goes. The Commonwealth Games gold medalist as well, just now moving herself into 2nd place, and you got to think that she's got her radar now on Vanessa Fernandez. Lap 2, and as we take a look right there at the white hat, that is Emma Snowsill, and she is looking at the gap of about 65 or 70 meters, taking a little bit of fluid, a little in the mouth, and a lot across the body to keep her cool. It is not overly hot here today, and the women have to worry about a little bit of spring on that deck that they're running in. It is a little bit of metal barricades below. On top of it is Chevron 440 rubber, and so there's a lot of give on the track, and the athletes easy on the legs, but not easy to run fast on, as we're taking a look right now at Laura Bennett, who's currently sitting in 3rd place, and if she's able to hang on, that'll be her 4th bronze medal performance in 2006. Late into lap number 4, and this is Vanessa Fernandez, who is less than a mile away from the finishing line. There's an out and back section of the course where she will be able to see exactly where she is relative to Emma Snowsill, and the woman who has dominated since she has been a teenager on the World Cup circuit. European champion on many times, 2nd at the World Championships in 2006 to the great Emma Snowsill. And right now, if Vanessa Fernandez is able to put together this last 2 kilometers, she will have her record-tying 12th consecutive victory. Emma Snowsill digging in deep, but looking like she is going to come up a little bit short here in Beijing, as that hill starting to put fatigue even on the incredible legs of Snowsill, as she's digging in hard, but they are now less than 500 meters from the finishing line. And for the first time, I think Vanessa Fernandez will be able to let up the pace just a little, start to enjoy the last couple hundred meters of what will be a record-tying win. And look at here, Elizabeth May from Luxembourg in the black, starting to dig through and to run into 3rd just through Laura Bennett. So that will be the best performance ever by Elizabeth May if she's able to hang on. 500 meters to go for the Luxembourg athlete. The American Bennett likely not to give up as she's trying to keep her within sights. But finally, the crowd on its feet, showing respect and admiration for a woman who started this streak back in 2004 Madrid. And for 11 and now 12 consecutive races will have had no losses. Nobody has defeated her in World Cup wins. Only the Olympic Games and the World Championships that she has suffered defeats, and for the 12th consecutive time, the Beijing 2006 BG World Cup winner, Vanessa Fernandez, who will have a chance now to take her well-deserved rest. Well, a woman certainly who's not going to be able to rest right now is Elizabeth May from Luxembourg, and she is just about to be passed by Laura Bennett as those two women fighting it out for 3rd and 4th place. And as they go past the crowd for the last 200 meters, it'll be Emma Snowsill able to enjoy her silver medal performance as the 3-time world champion 2006. Just crossing the line, and two of the greatest women ever to do the sport, Vanessa Fernandez and Emma Snowsill. Whenever they're in a race, you gotta believe that they will be 1-2, and once again today, they showed that they are the class of the field. Well, a woman who has dug down deep and is going to be proud of that performance, Elizabeth May, crossing line here for her first ever podium in World Cup racing. Luxembourg is on the map with Elizabeth May here in Beijing. Laura Bennett just crossing right there in 4th place. Missed consistency over the years as she has had another great performance. And Franzmann from Germany just making her way now through the last few hundred meters, as Warner from New Zealand will be coming in 6th in just a few seconds. Nonetheless, the day belongs to Vanessa Fernandez, who will take her 12th consecutive win here in World Cup racing.
In the end, it was a stereotypical race for Fernandez, who put herself into contention right from the start with a strong swim, strong bike, and then her traditional powerful run sealed the deal.
Yesterday I was very down, and I said to me, well, tomorrow I won't be good. I can't run and can swim and can go on the bike, but it was good today. I win, and of course I'm happy. I want to do a lot of things on the triathlon, and I want to be here in 2008 in Beijing in a good performance.
Despite losing steam during the closing stages of the race, Emma Snowsill also put in a great performance, just losing by seconds to rival Fernandez.
I really went out there, and particularly the bike, I wanted to see, you know, what could really be done there, and it's a tougher course than it looks. You know, it looks like there's a lot of downhill, but the last few days there's really been a prevailing breeze in those downhills, and there's actually no reprieve. So it makes for a really, you know, strength course, and I think that's you know, the heat obviously takes its toll, and I think the run itself is really hard. So it's going to be a great course. It's going to be you know, if they keep this and obviously, you know, the way it's gone today, 2 years time, it's going to be one of the tougher ones.
Elizabeth May's previous best in a World Cup competition was 11th, but today she proved she can run with the best, grabbing the bronze medal.
I come from middle distance running, so I have a bit of that grit, and I have a rule, never look back. I just remember in my training, I do a lot of hill runs with my trainer, Stefan Gross. Really want to thank him for that. And I just thought, just dig in, there's no tomorrow, just give everything, it doesn't matter, I can only win. So that was just, I felt I can do it, and if I just continue that pace on the flat, maybe, and it was.
A first ever trip to the World Cup podium and the bronze medal today put Elizabeth May from Luxembourg on the Olympic radar for 2008, while Emma Snowsill continued to prove why she's considered one of the top women in triathlon with the silver medal. Meanwhile, young Portuguese star Vanessa Fernandez equaled the all-time consecutive wins record previously set by Emma Carney. Taking a look at the official final results, Fernandez, Snowsill, and May hold down the top 3 spots, while Laura Bennett had another strong finish in 4th, with Franzmann in 5th. Sam Warner also had a strong showing, as did Whitcomb from Great Britain, while Samuels from Australia rounds out the top 12. And following competition in Beijing, the world rankings look like this, with Fernandez officially clinching the top spot for the year. Franzmann's consistency continues to keep her in the running, just ahead of Snowsill, while Bennett also moved up the ladder. Up next, Andy Potts and Javier Gomez take on the rest of the men's field. We have that race coming up next.